Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to this first live session on fundamentals of artificial intelligence. I'm Professor Shyamanta Hazarika from the Department of Mechanical Engineering and the Mehta Family School of Data Science and Artificial Intelligence at IIT Guwahati. It's a pleasure to speak to you, even though online. We had asked for a couple of queries that you would love me to address here. We have had some 6 to 7 responses that I shall take first, and thereafter I would take any queries that you may love to get addressed on the YouTube. People on the YouTube can also do live session chatting there. So first, let's start with the queries that we had asked people to submit and see what I can do about them. So we have Dr. Madhu P, who is a faculty in some institute. So saying us, sir, I am new to the AI field. Can you please provide problem solving sessions? This is something that we have been contemplating for a long time. For many courses, not only in this one, on having problem solving sessions is something that would be really appreciated. But given the current way these courses are run, I come only live once a month. So it may not be really exciting to have all of these problems solving sessions postponed on and clubbed together for just once a month frequency. And that is why we have the assignments given to you, where we expect that you solve things from concepts that are taught in the week through the videos. I would emphasize you try that. And if you are unable to do anything, we are just an email away. You can give us an email and I would definitely see that your queries are addressed. So you can either join our discussion forum where the TAs are usually responding to the queries, or you can email me directly if your queries are not addressed there. Or if you have something that needs my attention. So we will definitely get back to you with regards to problem solving. So it was also from Taki Reddy, the same type of question saying, can you please provide week-wise problem solving session? The current format, as I was telling you, doesn't allow us to do that, but we can always address your problems and queries. Please feel free to join the discussion forum or write to us. Then there is Anmol Gupta, who writes, what is the importance of fundamental artificial intelligence in our life and application through this course? This is something I would love to ask him if he thinks that AI is not important and why is he here, or even why is he doing a course on fundamentals of AI? Maybe he has realized that this is important. But let me address him and the others here. We are at the cusp of the fourth industrial revolution. And artificial intelligence, or AI as we call it, is poised to change our lives in more ways than one could possibly imagine. But having said that, it is very important that we are able to separate the hype created around these technologies and the hope that these technologies hold. These technologies need to be seen as something that augment, that would improve, that would optimize our performance. They are not designed to really replace the human intellect in a very complex decision-making process. Under this scenario that technological advances involving AI are today being broadly used in the society, a course on fundamentals of artificial intelligence is designed to provide you some form of artificial intelligence literacy, if you want to put it that way. So the course is a very basic fundamental course designed to really embrace people into the AI fold, people who may not have had any exposure to AI as of yet, so as to really be able to separate out, as I said, the hype created around AI and the hope that these technologies hold in their individual areas of expertise, in their individual areas of work. And this is absolutely required today, because otherwise we may not be able to reap the benefits of this technology. Not only that we'll not be able to reap the benefits of this technology, but also we would be really creating unsurmountable obstacles for ourselves in the path of bringing in some form of optimization, some form of augmentation, some form of improving human performances in many areas of work. Under such a scenario, it is very important that we have artificial intelligence literacy. We are at least aware of what is AI, where and how did it begin, where are we vis-a-vis its trends, and what are its future directions. And this is why this course is designed, and its importance emphasized. So I hope Mr. Anmol Gupta, who has given this question and is here today, and his doubt and his question that what is the importance of fundamental of artificial intelligence in our life addressed to some extent. As for what is the application through this course, I would again emphasize that this course is designed to be the first basic course in AI. So having done this course, you would not, let me repeat it, you would not become an expert in AI. But of course, you would be aware of what AI is. The course is designed to give you an exposure to all the fundamental concepts of what makes artificial intelligence so exciting. And as you will do this course, you will realize that towards the end of this course, I have a complete module on machine learning. And that would expose you to this is newer idea of computers improving their performance as they are exposed to newer data. And that idea that is becoming so very prevalent today, not only in many applications in the society that you must have come across. But many areas such as healthcare, radiology for that matter, is one area where machine learning is being used to a large extent. So that type of applications and exposure is what would be given to you. And the idea of this course is that you can use it as a stepping stone to get into AI and chart a career for yourself. But this course would be just your basic and first level. You got to take it with robotics, machine learning courses, and take it forward to really have a career in AI and ML. So let me take the next question now. That's from Ravi. He has written a complete paragraph there. And let me check and read this whole paragraph for you. He writes, "Sir, need an honest answer for this. There are so many influencers on YouTube promoting AI and sharing self-learning paths to become AI engineer in 3 to 6 months. Yes, there are. You need to be very careful to pick up sources which are reliable, sources which are from well-founded organizations, rather than picking any arbitrary influencer source. It would be nice to have an institution and backing up the course that you are really thinking of doing." So he then continues saying, same with online platforms like Hazarika and Simply Learn, who are promoting their courses. So in your opinion, how easy or difficult it is to become AI engineer by self-study? Now, this question doesn't have a direct objective yes, no answer. As for how easy or difficult it is, AI or artificial intelligence is not a game or a trick. It is based on foundational concepts across a range of disciplines. In fact, there are 4 schools of thoughts of AI. Whether your AI is about thinking humanly, thinking rationally, acting humanly, or acting rationally. So different AI systems have different schools of thought behind them. And according to Stuart Russell and Peter Norvig, the one that book that they have written, okay, an introduction to artificial intelligence, or artificial intelligence, a modern approach, is their book. In that, they give an introduction and they say that any AI system will fall into one of these 4 schools of thought. So just to say it's easy or difficult is something that's not very straightforward. But what is more important to realize is that if you chart for yourself a path, starting with basics, then some advanced courses, you can definitely do this. And whether you can do it in 3 to 6 months, I don't know, to be honest. It depends on how much you invest in terms of your time and effort. So if they are promoting that you become an AI engineer in 3 and 6 months, they may be correct. I have no comments to make on that. But as for my opinion on how easy or difficult it is to become an AI engineer by self-study, I would say it is possible. And that's why we have these open, massive online and open courses, where the idea is that people will learn and do self-learning and improve their skill sets. So that must be definitely possible. And that's why these courses are there. So what are the top skills required to become successful? Now, this is again very subjective. I think we were not expecting these type of questions in an interaction live session. What we had in mind was what was being taught in the course, and if you had certain doubts and problems with the delivery, we would have loved to address them, not just open-ended questions like this. But because it is here, let me just address what are the top skills required to become successful. And among them, which are the top 20% skills which contribute 80% of the overall knowledge success. Secondly, how important it is for us to learn the DSA with Azure AI having all the AI models inbuilt. Should we focus more on learning algorithms on our own or on using AWS or Azure in implementing them? So I would say to wind up his answer, I would say it is always is fun and to use some form of platform, but it is always best to know the algorithm and have the capability to implement it. So that's all I can say in response to Anmol Gupta's long query of a complete paragraph. So the next, sorry, that's not Anmol. It was some Ravi who has written this paragraph. Anmol had the other question of what is the importance of AI, which I have already addressed. Next, I have Hari Shankar Mena, implementation of generative tools in the medical domain. I would ask him to just hang on. We are in the very initial phases of our program. So as we go and start our module on machine learning, and I would be talking of generative tools, and we will cover something on generative AI, and that is where we will address this query. Then we have Francis Benedilas. He says, what is parametric model and what is non-parametric model? So parametric in the sense means using certain numbers and parameters. As non-parametric would be using models. So basically, if you are interested in really figuring out, let's say, a algorithm to really do certain type of classification or certain type of recognition, such as scene parsing in computer vision, and you use data-driven techniques, we would be talking of non-parametric modeling. So we'll come back to this in our machine learning week. Sukhdev Yadav, I have trouble understanding concept of neural net. I don't think we have started neural net as of yet. So this is something that you have to wait to hear from me. The second question is, what is the second question? It says, I have heard about Turing test. Are there, so the question is not visible completely. Are there other meaningful metrics? Okay, so Turing test, as we may have covered in the very first lecture, when I was talking of the history of AI, is the first philosophical question on philosophical look at what is artificial intelligence, and gives us the ability of really deciding whether a system is intelligent or not. So Turing in his seminal paper started his paper by saying can a machine think? And then he goes on to describe what is thinking, what is what he meant by a machine. And then he comes up with a way to quantify or way to define what is intelligence, and devises this Turing test, as you rightly pointed out. And that's a test which decides whether a machine is really intelligent or not intelligent. And that's the metric that's being used there. So can you explain how knowledge representation is used in practical life? Now, this is something that you must have just completed in your NPTEL course. We had this week on knowledge representation and reasoning. So when you want to reason out about a certain scenario, then it is important that first you have a representation and which you can manipulate it, which is of course the representation should be in terms of its capability to represent. It should be allowing you to represent stuff that you want to represent. In the same time, it should be able to be used for reasoning. So the importance here is that you should be able to express what you want to express in terms of representing in the world that you want to, and then it should be that the structure should be such that you are able to operate it to really gather new knowledge from the existing facts that you have represented. As for how it is used in practical life, so many rule-based systems that are there that are being used to aid human, like what if you ring up and somebody at the other end, which is a machine, keeps on guiding you and finally has to tell you which doctor you need to register for your current symptoms. Now, this is a very interesting application where knowledge representation and reasoning in terms of the stuff that you are doing. So this would depend on the type of representation you're using. So this is how KR or knowledge representation and reasoning is useful in practical life. So these are the only questions that we have in the Google Sheet being circulated. And now let me just see what do we have in the live sessions there. So Gaurav Sharma says, is it necessary to have prior knowledge of data science before I start learning artificial intelligence? The current course on fundamentals of artificial intelligence is designed in a way that it does not assume any knowledge, prior knowledge of data science. And so you can start this course on fundamentals of AI without any prior knowledge of data science. So Shukdev Yadav, he says, I have been reading about overfitting and underfitting in machine learning models. Could you give practical strategies to prevent this and strike a good balance? So this message has been retracted because I will only address this message when I'm doing machine learning. So Trilochan Satyakumar Kottapalli says, can you please say what is a production system in simple way? So a production system is a simple AI software of paradigm where you have rules and an inference engine and a global database where you generate new facts from existing facts. So if you are able to do this, you create a production system. So all you have is some facts to start with in the most simplest terms, and then you have some rules, and then you have a control strategy that decides, given these facts, which are the rules that will now fire, and you fire these rules and you get new facts, and that arrangement is just a production system. It's as simple as that. So could you please tell what are the next courses to be taken? So if you go to the NPTEL web page, you'll see that this is a very basic AI course. Then we have more interesting courses in AI. I like there'll be courses as on reinforcement learning and also machine learning courses. So after this course, it is a good idea to take up any machine learning course or a course on reinforcement learning. So now I have another question from Saloni. Can you tell which programming language is best for AI, Prolog or Python? So my take on this would be for the first order logic portions that I have taught, the KR and R portion, where you have to do some form of theorem proving using resolution. Prolog would be a very good language to understand things and really get a feeling of what is happening. As for other stuff later on, Python would be a language that you may prefer. So right now, I would say Prolog is something that you should explore for your knowledge representation and reasoning lectures, including the first order predicate calculus theorem proving stuff that has been given to you. So Janet Trivedi, too much theory with this course feel hard to clear a final exam. Hope for some simple and basic content only during this course. So this is something that I have to really address. What do you mean by too much theory? Is it that you are not ready to take the fundamental concepts being covered? If you clarify, it would be better. And as for the final examination, and I think you need not worry about the final examination as of now. The final examination has 3 portions. Let me tell you this. And we are ensuring that if you have done the all the videos, you should be able to answer our a big chunk of one section, and from another section, and most of the emphasis would be on the assignments, and there would be a third section and which would expect you to really understand and extend beyond what is in the videos and the assignments. So assignments and videos will be almost 2/3 of what would be there in the exam. So it should not be that difficult, but that's not what our idea is. You should not bother yourself with the exam and take this course. The idea of the course is to really expose you to the fundamental concepts, to the fundamental idea, the philosophy behind artificial intelligence, and therefore, it is important that you take each of the lectures very, very sincerely and look at what is the concepts being covered, rather than worrying about which of it will be asked in the exam and doable and not doable in the exam. So next question is, good afternoon, sir. Which AI domain, according to you, is trending now? So which AI domain, according to you, is trending now? I'm not getting the question. If you can you clarify, Joseph, what do you have in mind when you ask this question? And are you trying to ask in terms of which each are the areas of AI that are in great demand, or are you trying to say which of the AI systems are something that are being widely used now? Beginning 2010, 11, 12, what has happened is we have moved away from our very general AI ideas to very narrow AI ideas. That's what I feel. But that movement and from addressing general AI problems or a general artificial intelligence system to solving narrow AI problems via machine learning has really also brought in a lot of exciting applications. And therefore, it looks as if today machine learning has overtaken whole of AI, but that may not be true. There are other areas as which are equally important, and with explainable AI, that's the next question. And how do one figure out what is right, what is wrong? Knowledge representation and reasoning is going to play a big role. So how AI and in particular ChatGPT can verify the correctness of the logic of one's argument. That is what I was trying to explain in the previous question. Getting to the very idea of the answer of large language models, or getting to the very crux of how did the prediction of a particular generative AI system come in its first place, as this is something that is what people in explainable AI is trying to look at, and that would really be something which would change the face of AI. When right now many of the things looks like black boxes, but the moment we are able to get an answer to why is this argument there, that would be exciting. As of now, for verification of correctness of the logic of one's argument, and by a system like ChatGPT, not possible in the truest sense. So this is all that we have. If you have any more questions, I would love to address them. Otherwise, we will call it a day. Okay, there are no more questions as of yet, but let me give you some idea on how would be the final exam, because somebody did ask about the final exam. So the final exam, would be objective. There would be multiple choice questions where one of the choices would be correct. There would be multiple select questions where more than one choice would be correct, and you are expected to pick up all the correct choices for the question to be correct. We also have something called grouped question, where we will have a concept being explained, and then a couple of questions will follow. Now, your format of the question for the exam would be that it would have 3 sections. The first section would be based on your understanding or material covered in the videos. So your understanding and material covered in the videos, it would be more of a recall of what you have learned and taken note of while you were doing the videos. So that would be pretty direct question from the videos itself. So that's a recall sort of question. The second group of questions most of them are designed to be from the assignments that you'd have done in the 10 weeks, okay, or 10, 11 weeks. So that would be questions that you must have seen in the assignments or very nearly seen in the assignments. The third section is something which we expect you to really be able to do only if you have done study beyond the videos and beyond on the assignments. So you must have had a book, the books that I referred to, the book by Russell and Nerwick, or Principles of AI by Nielsen. So these that be questions where you would be able to do them if you have done so. Beyond on these is videos and and the assignments. It doesn't mean that the concepts would be beyond that, but problems and the idea of understanding must be very clear to attempt those questions. So these are the three parts of the exam, and therefore your learning should not be motivated by the exam. That's what I really want to tell you. Okay, so your learning should be rather be motivated by the very fact that this is your first exposure to artificial intelligence. You should be able to take home the concepts and if possible, some form of implementation and details of certain algorithms as they are being taught to you. So that's something I really wanted to emphasize as here. And as for negative marking, there isn't any negative marking, and so it's not a very competitive sort of elimination and type of exam. It's an inclusive type of exam where we really want to figure out how much you have really covered the videos and how much you have really understood the assignments and studied beyond the assignments and the video lectures. So that's roughly it. If you have any more queries, you can write now, else we will close this session now. Okay, so there is Sunil Gupta who says, sir, can you explain the difference between A star and AO star algorithm? Okay, so we did do these algorithms, if you remember, very early. So we have done A star, which is, if you remember, we have done A star when we were talking of heuristic search, and we have done AO star when we were trying to really look at the Endor graphs. So first, you need to understand that A star is for a completely different search, and AO star is for a completely different search. You are searching an Endor graph, you use AO star algorithm. You are searching in a graph for a solution, and in a game that we have explained, something like, for example, the 8 puzzle being played, you are looking for the best first move, then you would rather be doing in A star algorithm. So when you are doing this sort of heuristic search, you are using something called the heuristic function, which is the estimation of how far you are from the goal and up to what point you have come now. So there are two important elements: what you have spent up to being up to now, and an estimate of how much you'll have to spend to reach the goal. Or that estimate is what we try in A star. And AO star is a slightly different thing. AO star is when I am trying to really work through the end or graph search. And there it involves two different operations. I first want to really expand on the tree and see which are the paths that leads to the goal. And then I do a bottom up counting of what is the cost that I have spent so that I can mark my lines, okay, where which paths to take. So they are completely two different, I would say, ways of, not only ways, they are two different algorithms, completely for two different operations. So there should not be any question as of distinguish between A star, AO star. The moment you say distinguish or the difference is that one is for heuristic search as algorithm, one is for an and or graph algorithm search. Okay. So that is something that you need to really realize there. That's the realization that one needs to have. Okay, then till such time that we meet for the next live session, I would request you to kindly do these videos well. So I could see a hand being raised. Vivek Gupta, yes, what is it? Where can I find examples of actual codes or programs for different types of algorithms that we have studied in the course till now? Say AO star algorithm. Okay. Examples of these algorithms, the pseudocodes of these algorithms are already in the course itself. I have discussed the pseudocodes. So if you are really looking for example programs being written on these pseudocodes, you can look up the web, or if you have a problem, please send me a mail. I will share with you certain example codes and problems to be solved. Okay, but the pseudocodes are there in the videos itself. It's a matter of writing it in a language. But even in spite of that, if you have any problem, please send me a mail. I would love to respond to our email and help you get a couple of examples of different algorithms that are covered as of yet. Okay, so thank you very much for your kind attention and joining us today for this live session. I would emphasize one more time, this live session is for really taking forward the videos that we have done so far. So in the next live session, my request to you would be to really come up with questions relevant to what is being done in those videos for these weeks, so that I can help you really with taking forward the course. Rather than this being a general advice. Of course, I'm not saying general advice is not something that I'm not ready to cover. I have done this, but to really be effective, it would be very important that you raise questions on things being taught in these video lectures, and then I can really come with answers that may be helpful. So it would be more interesting and more lively in that way. Okay, so like somebody really asked about the question on the very question on A star and A star. So this is very important, that A star is something like the best first search. It's type of a heuristic search, and AO star is about finding out the path in terms of a AND/OR graph. So if you remember, we had covered the A star algorithm during the heuristic A star lecture. Okay, and we had also discussed how you arrive at A star. Like you think of the heuristic function f equal to g plus h, where you take g as cost from starting node to reach that particular node n, and then you take h as an estimate of the cost of the cheapest path from n to the goal node, and then you compute your different f's and decide where you must visit next. So that's what is A star. So A star generates an optimal solution if Hn is an admissible heuristic, something like that we had also studied. And whereas, if you remember, we had looked at the AO star algorithm, which is an algorithm to really search the AND/OR graph. And we had looked at example of doing a graph search of an AND/OR graph using the AO star algorithm, and it is made up of basic two operations: a top-down operation and a bottom-up operation of cost revising and marking which of them is solved and which of them is not solved. So if you really come up with that type of questions, it will be more effective and useful. General questions are okay, welcome, but please also make sure to make use of these live sessions to really understand and the videos covered as of yet. If you have any doubts and things on that matter, if you make a point and fill up our Google page that is circulated, that would be very much appreciated. Thank you very much. If you have no more questions, I will end the session now. Wish you all a very nice evening ahead. Thank you very much. See you in the next live session.